Okay, now we're going to move on to April Employee of the Month, Dr. Guzman.
I'm going to put you on speaker now.
I don't know where we are.
Amy.
Oh, Ortiz? Where's Chief Ortiz? There he is. Oh, I'm on the wrong day.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening, Chair Abeda, and welcome, and fellow board members, and Dr. Guzman. This time around, I'm back, but I got to pass the award forward, and I passed it on to Jerry. And the reason that I passed it on to Jerry is that I really appreciate what he's done with creating an environment in the security department. Their MO in his office is to be of assistance to our community here on campus and to provide assistance. So often you can have a security department that has more the mindset of being that authoritative entity with intimidation, and that is exactly what they do not do, and that has really made them a true asset to our campus. And I think Jerry should be commended for that, because he's the one that has set that precedence in his office to create that friendly assistance. If you need your car jumped, they will be there to help you. If you need a door unlocked, they'll be there for that. If you would like an escort, they will do an escort to your car. They will do that. They have a calendar too. So I just wanted to commend him for that and offer him that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I just want to say, I think the uniforms look good on you.
Thank you.
Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say that I use my coffee cup daily.
Thank you very much.
And then the WOW grant?
Consent agenda.
They weren't here.
Yeah, Anna's not here.
They didn't make it tonight.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the Faculty Senate report. Clark?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Mr. Chair, Dr. Guzman, members of the board. We had submitted 2 approved version of minutes. I was surprised to see that they weren't in the board packet, actually, and we tried to redirect those. I don't know if you have those in front of you. That's an
Oh,
open
we never got
conversation.
it. We didn't get them.
Rosemary, did you get those?
The staff senate?
No, faculty.
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Okay. So those not being on the table, since last we met, I guess, they're to cover, if you wish, at your discretion. Then there was communication to Faculty Senate from a board member asking Faculty Senate then to identify criteria that would build then a proactive environment for going forward. That was assigned by Faculty Senate then to a subcommittee who did work and then brought that back to Faculty Senate for review and input. And that was then delivered to Dr. Guzman, the members of the board, and then distributed to Faculty Senate members who participated and were active in that role. That now also resides on the Faculty Senate webpage. And so if you have, and then Dr. Guzman then graced us with the courtesy of a response outlining, various ideas and issues of how to proceed. And if you'd wish to address that or have questions about it, I think that might be a good place to begin, if you so choose.
Dr.
I just really appreciate the fact that we're moving on and that the faculty has brought the issues directly to the president, who is the one who can solve them, and in a very respectful manner. So I did read the communication, and I appreciate being treated that way.
Thank you. I think I appreciate that and understand it. It is, as we delved into it, trying to establish a root ability to identify what a proactive approach to it was. And then we found counsel within the AQUIP quality process and procedures, which I think are very beautifully written and represent, at least to myself, ideals. And ideals as such, I believe, are very difficult to wholly obtain to and then wholly achieve. But they are signifiers, I do believe, as that examples of how all of us can work together and begin to model our communications and our environment. And so that the way that we communicate and cooperate and collaborate represent and are co-sympathetic then with the classroom and learning environment. And I think that's really critical. That goes very deep, I think, from my time at SFCC. In the SFCC involvement and growth as an institution, and that's very deeply linked, I think, also to the shared governance process that needs to be available to every constituency in the college. And that's something that we've worked hard to achieve over the years, and we take it very seriously and proactively, and appreciate the ability to speak to that because these are issues that we hold dear to our heart and value. So.
And what we plan to do is, when faculty come back in September, we plan to set up an AQUIP council where the issues of the faculty can be worked through, and we can define. Because the problem with shared governance is that if individuals haven't worked together enough, and definitions haven't taken place as to what shared governance is and what responsibilities does the president have, and what responsibilities does the faculty have, and how do we respect each other's responsibilities, then it never gets solved. And doing it now would not work because they're not here. But I have taken what the faculty has given me. I have built the first response, but I think it'll be really important for us to have the AQUIP Council that then will move forward. Karen Looper is retiring, and she is in charge of evaluation, and we will be looking for a person that has expertise in AQUIP to fill her position. So that will be very helpful.
In the communication returning back to us, you mentioned propose a series of focused discussion with an outside facilitator to address the items within that.
Exactly.
The AQUIP action project that we had proposed would be one to assist in defining the role of adjunct faculty to the institution. That's been a recurrent conversation within Faculty Senate itself, and you've been gracious, I know, to receive it and address that.
Yes.
But it's been, that one particular issue is one that can be problematic, probably in institutions nationwide. The adjunct faculty are not a clearly defined group of people.
Right.
But I think that is certainly a primary example of what an AQUIP action project could then address and help that constituency address to see what the institution can also do for them in that regard. The AQUIP quality process, my memory holds correct, I believe, in that the Santa Fe governing board had identified itself as a quality board, right? And so it is our opinion, upon investigation, the communications of the last few weeks or so, that we are still all collectively on this learning process. And that I think we all need to understand what we need to do individually, collectively, and as these various constituencies in the college to develop that capacity within ourselves to begin to approach, these ideals, which are never really probably going to be fully achievable in that how I identify ideals, but that's where we can take progress and measure of our success together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
It really does.
Thank you.
Thank you. That feels good.
Yes,
Thank you.
I thought the letter was very positive with good contributions, good ideas, and that your response was that you wanted to work with them. And
exactly.
I think we really need to work together and have real collaboration, and that's what we need to see.
Yeah, and that's what makes it exciting. I mean, that's what's fun about it. I mean, it's education, is building success, for other people and the community, and that's what this institution, in my estimation, has done so well over its 30 years of history, and that's where we need to go together. And, that when the shared governance process works and individuals, my own estimation of it as a chair of Faculty Senate in this, for the time that I'm elected to do so, is that it is a forum for voices from all sides of the spectrum. And that part of it and that evaluation and that input to it is critical for us understanding who we are and what we need to work on and where we need to go. And that's always intended in the proactive building spirit, for the benefit of the college and the community and ourselves. And so this is a growing and learning process.
Thank you.
Good. Just, without a faculty, well, without a staff, without the board, the students, they don't benefit. And so, that's exactly what I think we're all looking for. We want the students to just, we want students to shine. And I think that working together, and, that goes for all of us, and maybe I'm still a child of the 60s, but I really believe that we really need to do that stuff and just be open and be able to do that stuff. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that we're moving forward. That's the thing. Evolving, whatever that takes, slow or fast, whatever, but I think it's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I actually felt like applauding.
I'm sorry.
I felt like applauding at the end of here.
Anything else? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
you
Thank
soon.
you, Clark. See you tomorrow.
Do we have, so there you go, Bob, Staff Senate.
Good evening, Chair Beta, Madam President, members of the board. We've had an active month ourselves. Before I get into the meeting we had just yesterday, I just want to direct you to the minutes from our formal meeting in April, because you're going to address the policy items tonight, and there's some comments around the policies, which you may have already read. In addition,
Actually, tonight we won't address them because it's first reading, so there's plenty of time for us to
But it gives you-
incorporate some thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Then, yesterday, we had a meeting, let me just back up for a second. We've had some discussion about how much business should be conducted at staff senate meetings. And then to address the council issue that came up earlier, I do look at part of, this is my version, and I think some people believe this, that the staff senate is a part of the council process. And many things that are decided in council are required to come through both the staff and faculty senate before they move on, policy being one of them. And so, again, that's how it works, and I really have so far enjoyed my experience with councils, and I also have liked the fact that it goes this direction to get something passed. So anyway, our comments on those policies are right there.
Well, I have a question about that, because we already have the written policy presented to us, and so if these are concerns of yours that should be incorporated in the policy, then maybe we need to
Oh, it's
revisit
final
the
reading. I'm
policy.
sorry. I thought it was first reading. It's final reading. You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, during the
Yeah,
first
we need to
reading,
table
we'll
them.
take it into consideration.
Yeah.
But it says final reading, but
Yeah,
this
so
is
we need
only
to
the first
table-
reading of these. I don't remember it getting
I
presented.
don't remember the first reading. That's why I thought
Yeah.
this was first reading, and I'm just looking at final.
But even if it's first reading, I see some concerns here that maybe we need to revisit those policies.
Well,
in
that's
light
why
of
we
these
present that,
concerns,
and then
in light
that
of these
would be your
concerns.
decision, or you could amend the
Yeah.
policy or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, that's the process, is to us to present them to you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
So maybe we need to table it as first reading and then come back with some
That'd be fine.
changes and
So-
make it first reading in June.
So we need
Okay,
to
we
make
can-
a motion to
We can
take
do
it
that
out.
when it comes up.
Yeah,
But let
right.
me ask Carmen, is there any issue with the admission of secondary school students? Because that one is really important. We'll need that one for August.
I think it's okay. I mean, if that's the only thing they need in there is the definition of LEA, that would be
Yeah.
local education agency.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
In that one, in that
one,
policy.
that would be easy.
so we can keep that one
so that one we
That's the
could, because
final.
we might need that one, which,
and then table the other one.
of the academic calendar development.
And you need that fast too,
Yeah,
but we need to look at the comments.
Well, then that brings me to the question of how did we get those policies as they're written now? Did we go through some kind of quality process? Yeah.
Ron?
Go ahead.
If you look at what the comments are in the academic calendar, there's suggestions of how to proceed forward with the process that's in the policy. It doesn't say that there's anything wrong inherent with the policy in what they're reflecting on. And it's really the alignment of our academic calendar with the public schools, with the higher education center. And that is already in the policy that says we're working to do that. So I think that was just brought up as conversation rather than change what the policy says.
That is correct. Well, it was more that we try to do that and we don't usually accomplish it, so why should we do that was the discussion. But if it's a goal to try to accomplish it, the staff senate isn't opposed to it.
Yeah, and we actually had, if you recall or look at the minutes in our last meeting here, we did go over this policy, and that discussion exactly came up here, and I addressed it at that time.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
either.
it was, you were busy last meeting, I believe.
Yeah, we were distracted.
But just to clarify, the policies come through the councils. And so we are involved in looking at all of our policies to update them, to make sure that we have the policies that we need. And so the secondary student school, that was in the Student Success Council. The academic calendar, that was in the Academic Affairs Council. So each council is looking at the policies, taking 2 or 3, and then processing them. After they're finished with the policies, they send them to the Staff Senate and the Faculty Senate for review. This is the review. After that review, then they come to the Executive Council. The Executive Council approves them, and then it comes to the board.
And it may just be that our meeting was in April, and so maybe we just have to address the delay in timing, that somehow our comments need to get advanced before it comes to you or something like that.
The issue, I think, with the academic calendar, we may want to address when we visit the public schools, because I was kind of surprised that we hadn't been successful in, like, our spring break wasn't the same time, and that's really hard for the employees because their children are home and they're at work and vice versa. But my understanding from what Ron has said is that the public schools schedule them so late in the year that we almost can't wait. And so maybe that's a discussion that we need to have as to the wish for us to be in the same calendar, and could they quicken a little bit and us wait a little bit.
And I'd like to address that again, that one of the problems they have is that the state of New Mexico has a 3-week window for them giving testing. And that 3-week window, they make a 4-week window because they want some time on either side of that in order for students not to be fresh off the spring break or early on it. So they force their schedule out of alignment with the middle of our semester, that it's almost, even if we have the discussion early, that it doesn't match up. So it really is bigger than just the public schools and us. It's the state and their testing as well as the public schools and us. So we've had a lot of discussion with them of is there a way to do that? And it's very difficult to align it simply because of the issues they have. And their semester starts the beginning of January, ours starts later in January. So just aligning the beginning and end of things and where that would fall is very difficult for us. So, and we recognize all the problems we're not matching, I think, from both sides, but it still hasn't been something to solve. So I'd love it if you can come up with something.
Well, just as a comment, I have already asked to get on the agenda for the Santa Fe Public School, and Dr. Guzman and I, and I don't necessarily see it as jumping in and dealing with everything right away. It's just making an introduction and having them feel comfortable with who we are, and vice versa, and then, as we go on, then they'll say, well, we know the president, we know the chair, we feel comfortable with the board, therefore let's try and work something out if it's even possible. But I still think it's important that we begin to just do that introduction, So anyway.
Absolutely, at the board level, and Rebecca Estrada and I have spent much time at the public schools and talking about it, and we've had this at the table often.
Yep.
And whatever help, again, whatever level it takes it can help us try and fix it.
Well, they have a meeting right now. I think it was today or tomorrow, but June 4th is what we're planning. So.
Madam Chair. Woo! Madam President.
I knew somebody was going to do that.
I'm so used to the Madam Chair thing. Anyway,
I'm perfectly.
Chair
fine.
Abeta
No problem.
and President Guzman and members of the board, I think one of the things that happened this time around with these policies is this is all new for all the councils, and we're really getting to work on them and looking at 3 or 4 policies at a time. And what we did is we brought them, we approved them, they were in the councils at least 2 different months, and then we brought them to the executive committee, and they were all ready to go. They'd been approved by everybody. And then the president said, you need to send them to the faculty senate and the staff senate. So that was a little bit after the fact, but I think moving forward, we will get that to them in between the approvals so we can get their feedback.
Right, because it's important for us to have the feedback from the faculty and staff senate before the executive council
Right.
has approved it.
But we didn't know that. And and I think the other thing is, we felt that, there's representatives of faculty and staff on the councils and students, so we felt like they are very good at taking them back to and reporting at the staff senate. At least I've seen that on your agenda, so I know that what we do at the councils gets reported back to them. I'm not sure what happens in the faculty senate, so thank you.
And I just want to thank you for considering those comments, because we have done these things before, and oftentimes it has been after the fact, or policy's already been moved forward, and so it is a good thing. And then to close that particular policy out, the staff would be fully supportive if you managed to align the vacation with the
Yes.
public school.
I agree.
That's the bottom line.
I agree.
So back to the agenda item then, it sounds like we do need to add this LEA definition. But do we need to impact the others? I don't know.
Well, we just have to have it more ganas in dealing with the public schools. And Mr. Aveta has promised to supply that.
So we're going to need to take them out of here, or
I think it's fine.
in the consent agenda, provided they consider these comments?
No, if we vote on them today, the LEA definition won't be in there.
But we'll say provided that,
Yes.
I apologize. So I think what happened, Chair, Madam President, members of the board, apologize. I think part of what happened, and we weren't actually at Staff Senate to maybe discuss this, but I think part of what happened with the definition of the LEA is, if you'll remember when we talked about it last time, what happened was there was really in our previous version, there was no nod to the actual state dual credit rules. And so that's really what we built into it. Right. So the LEA is not defined in the policy specifically. What it says is it refers back to how the LEA is defined at the state level, because those are the rules that we're following. And we've seen LEA already shift over the last 3 years. We've seen the initial definition of the LEA be just public and charter high schools. Then we saw the LEA definition shift to the Bureau of Indian Education schools when they were allowed in. And of course, now there continues to be conversation still about whether privates will eventually be allowed in, whether homeschool institutions will be allowed in. So part of what we did, and so why it isn't explicitly defined, is because we refer in the policy back to those state rules quite often in terms of this is where you're really going to find that policy. But it could be an easy fix. If we want to redefine that, we're certainly happy to do so. The issue is just if we also are trying to avoid bringing back a policy every year, whereas if they're changing it at the state level and we continue to refer to the state rule, then we should be covered. But that would be why there isn't an explicit definition of the LEA.
Well, that makes sense.
but of course I don't have it immediately in front of me. But that was the same discussion we had in the councils. When we brought it forward to the council, that was the same question we received, because there was questions regarding concurrent, charters, privates, etc. So hopefully that's a clarification. But again, if we need to change it, we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
So should we just approve
Yeah, I think,
part of the consent agenda?
the definition, then we really don't want to put the current definition in, because it
If you
will
just want to
change.
task me to ensure that we
That those
take,
changes are incorporated, I think that would be
then
satisfactory to
I'll
me.
work with the council.
Right,
We're
'cause
not
there-
gonna table it.
No, we'll leave it in the consent agenda and trust
When it
that,
comes up, then we'll.
But why would, we probably don't even need to change it.
right, that one. And the other one, just to look at the comments and see that they are,
Okay, I don't really
At
feel
least considered.
comfortable passing something that we don't have the final language on. So, I don't know, which one is it we would tweak?
The secondary is the one that's important, so, because.
Pass that now.
Mhm. And then the other one we can tweak.
Sorry.
Sorry, you brought it
Yeah,
up.
thought that was short.
Moving on to the second part of what I have to say. We did have a meeting yesterday, and you will not find minutes in the board packet this time because we just had it yesterday. There was a discussion, it was a single agenda meeting regarding the current changes that are going on, changes to the environment, changes to how we are doing business and things like that. There's a lot of discussion. We had about 30, 35 people in attendance. And actually, interestingly enough, there was discussion around stuff that Clark was just mentioning, the use of AQUIP to run, how we operate, collaboration, things like that. Because of the discussion, there wasn't not enough time to finalize anything definitive, but a couple motions were passed that I would like to read to you now. The first one was, the Staff Senate supports the spirit of the statement that the Faculty Senate read into the record at the SFCC Governing Board meeting on April 24th, 2013. The second one was, the staff is concerned that the proposed 2.5% cost of living increase will not be sufficient to cover the increased costs of ERB and insurance, resulting in a net decrease in pay. The Staff Senate requests that the board approve giving a cost of living increase of 3% as originally proposed to staff. And that was important because the vote is coming tonight, and they wanted to make sure that that particular item got in tonight. So I'll take questions on either of those if you'd like. All right. If there's further questions,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, because Alex Mitchell is sick, I don't think there's a student government report, unless. Okay, so approval of consent agenda, which would be the minutes. We did a change in the minutes for those of you who have it on there. Something that was personal is that I was not absent. I would put excused absent. I have a note from my mom. So they just changing it from absent to excused absent. And Andrea, there was another
There were a
change.
couple of items. One was that the closed session adjourned at a certain time, and who made the motion for that. And then the other one was the retirement. What's the rest of
The
the
retirement incentive.
incentive? That actually did not pass 4-0, it passed 3-1, and she made the changes, so.
This is Martha. My connection is not terribly good the second time around this time, so we may want to redo this. But I had two proposed amendments to the minutes of the 24th. One was that I believe we tabled a policy on at-will employee,
Yes.
and that's not reflected in the minutes. And the second
Oh, yes,
one
yes.
I thought was that in two places we say the vote was 5-0. In all the other places, if there's 4 people in attendance. I don't know whether someone had Chris's proxy vote for those two votes,
No, we can't.
or how
No.
or if that's just an error that we need to correct.
She's correct. Yeah, we don't have proxy, so the ones that say 4-0, except for that other one that's only 3-1, is,
Okay.
And I'm wondering if Rosemary, if we could disconnect and reconnect. I think I'm getting a lot of interference on this line.
please.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Should we wait till it reconnect or? Okay, so one of the things, maybe you guys need to help me on this one. Do you guys who are the pros instead of the rookie? There's not an individual.
No, just
There's not an individual. So we're going to approve
The whole consent
from
agenda.
A through G.
Exactly.
Okay. Do I need to read them all off individually?
No,
But I want to remove some. I want to remove the Open Meetings Act because I found a mistake in it.
that's
And
D.
D. And just the memorandum with the Grow Foundation, just for a quick comment. And then we want to remove the academic calendar policy and leave the secondary school student.
And you want to table that? We'll
wanna-
deal with them in the next stage.
Yeah.
So we can approve the rest as a consent agenda.
Okay, so do you want to do that in a formal motion
Yeah.
then?
So, well, do we want Martha on this?
She's on.
Are you oh, okay. So I move that we approve the consent agenda except for, I want to remove D, G, and H, A.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing section D and HA.
And G.
G.
Oh, both. Okay, so just H then, all of H.
No, A. D, G, and H-A. H-A. All right. We
All right.
got it.
Okay, so do we have?
Second. You made the
I
motion.
made the motion.
I
Second.
second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, those in favor?
Well,
Okay,
why are we removing those from the consent agenda? Is there a desire to have individual discussions on those?
Yes, you missed the conversation about the policy one we have a problem with, HA.
Okay.
And then D has a mistake in it, I believe, and then I just had a question on G that we didn't have time to get to in the study session.
but did we include G in the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. All right, no more discussion? Martha, are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Bueno. All right, those in favor?
I didn't hear half of that, but that's okay.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Okay, the motion is carried.
So where are we supposed to talk so Martha can hear us?
Martha, can you hear
We
us?
have to go to Omaha. It's just how.
She's in the mics, I think.
Yeah, it's
Just through the
hard.
mics?
Yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Okay.
All right.
All right, so, look, you have questions?
So now we have to do D as the next action item.
Okay. All right, so let's do the resolution on the Open Meetings Act, and you said there was some mistakes.
Well, I think now I gotta get to it again. Okay,
Oh,
so we're on the Open Meetings Act, and it says that our meetings are gonna be the third Thursday. And I thought we decided we were going with
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the third.
third Tuesday.
So we just need to correct that, and then
Thank you.
it seems fine, because we have the new statutory requirement of 72 hours. And everything else was okay with it, right, Rachel? Yeah.
Well, there's something, Rachel says it's not required, that the college, if they still want that provision, may keep it. And that's on page C13, the very last paragraph of number 1 that says, except in case of an emergency, the board may take action only on those items on the agenda, and no action will be taken during the working session preceding the regular meeting. I think it's worked for us very well.
So are we changing that, or?
No, it's just that it's not required, but I think it's worked for us, so maybe we should keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay, so
we're ready.
with that correction, I move to approve the new Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion to, with the changes, to approve the Open Meetings Act. And we have a second. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Martha?
Martha?
Martha.
You're me.
Wait a minute, I'm picking up something. She said it. Thank you.
It's a tough thing to,
Uh-oh.
there you go.
Huh? Yeah.
It's really a very challenging vehicle to attend a meeting.
So, yeah. I've been watching too much Star Trek.
Okay, we can move on.
Should we wait for a vote?
No, I
Okay.
think we had,
All right, okay, so those in favor of the motion?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those against? The motion is passed, motion's carried. Thank you. And now HA?
Well, G first,
Gee, so I
Oh,
had a
God,
question
gee.
for Deborah,
Deborah.
just about the, I'll wait till you sit down. Yeah, well, actually, it's kind of about the MOU, but how do we determine when we put that money in, that 180,000 from the Grow Foundation that had some requirements on it, and it's now all commingled. I mean, maybe it's more for Rachel that we, I mean, how do we,
The money that comes to the college becomes public money.
right?
And, I mean, the MOA actually says that specifically, but it's also just true. So if you have money in your general fund from no matter what source it originally came from, you can only spend that in the way that you can spend other public money. So things like the anti-donation restrictions apply and those kinds of things. So,
That's why we can't give it back and use it for scholarships.
Yes.
Because we've commingled it.
right.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that in my mind.
And that's why you have eliminated that from the next round, from this MOA, 3.5.
So going forward, that the requirement
keep
for
it.
GROW to transfer the money to the college won't be there.
Yeah.
But if GROW does transfer money to the college, then the same thing will happen, which is that becomes public money that can only be spent the same way that other public funds can be spent.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to commend Deborah on
Oh, yeah.
3 years of raising our 5-year goal. In only 3 years, you and the foundation have done such a good job of raising, what, 1.7 million?
That's correct. We're at the 1.7 million mark in 3 years, and our 5-year goal approved by this board 3 years ago was 1.5. So we want to continue to transfer money to the college. That's our goal. So we will make sure that we just keep growing that.
But that means you do have to raise unrestricted funds to make that transfer.
Then that's the hardest money to raise, but
And
doing
really,
it.
what we want is money raised for scholarships and for special things for the students.
Yeah, which we're doing.
Exactly, and that's what we want to continue to do and really zero in on that. Because so many of our students drop out because life becomes overwhelming because of lack of funds. And if we had more funds available, we would be able to do much more with our students.
Because of the revisions, that change, all those little things we're gonna do is just this year, and next year, everything's gonna just start moving smoothly, is that correct? Right?
Well, are you referring to?
I'm referring to the money that's not going back to the college, that already went to the college, and so we're gonna be able to use some of that on some of the things or not?
With guidance from legal counsel,
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to
Yeah.
use that.
For
Yes,
for
some of
the
them.
things, yeah. I mean, we'll just have to go through each item and see
Right.
if it's money, if the college could otherwise spend its money on it, then you can go ahead and spend that money on it. If not, then you'll have to find another source.
And this will begin in 14?
May, this month, right? May.
Well, the change to the MOU will take
Oh,
effect
yeah.
immediately, but it'll only have an impact because I
Next
think
year.
the requirement in the MOA was 60 days after the end of the fiscal
Oh,
year. Some
okay.
funds had to be transferred. So this time that won't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Question? Mr. Chair, a quick
I'm sorry, Kathy, go ahead.
a quick question. So I too want to congratulate Deborah and the foundation for meeting their 5-year goal in 3 years. And I want to challenge Deborah and the foundation to set a higher goal next time around so we can approve a higher goal.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We are always trying to improve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the memorandum of agreement.
We have a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement.
Second?
Second, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
Motion passes. Carried, thank you. Now we're gonna go into the final reading, HA.
And I move to table HA.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion to table HA. Do we have to have a certain time that we're gonna do that, till a certain time?
We're
Or
gonna bring
We're
it back
okay.
next month.
Right.
bring it back, so we're gonna bring it back at the next
Because we
meeting?
need it
All right.
ASAP.
We have a second. Any more discussion?
Nope.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Those against?
Why are we tabling this?
That's okay. Go ahead.
We're tabling it because the staff senate had some questions about it, which we all thought we need to look at. I don't know.
Yes.
And
That's
the,
good.
and the president's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Action items removed from the consent agenda.
That's what we just did.
We did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Action items, non-consent, approval of faculty compensation, fiscal year 14, which was postponed from the April 24th meeting.
Yes. I so move that we approve the faculty compensation for FY 14.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Second? Any discussion?
I just want to say, we discussed this a lot at the last board meeting, and so we just had tabled it, and now we're just bringing it back to.
And we discussed it also at the work session.
At the work session.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're ready for a vote.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
Thank you. All those against?
5-0.
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion is carried. Thank you. Now, approval of staff compensation for fiscal year 14, which was also postponed.
So I move we approve this.
Second?
All right, discussion?
May I?
Yes.
May I insert what we said at the work session? And that is that for the first semester, it will be 2.5. We will see if we can save some more money and then increase the 0.5 for the rest of the year.
Because it wasn't a money issue. I mean, it wasn't an issue of, it was an issue of money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that, that folks were saying, well, we disagree with it, or, I mean, we do see that. And
Yeah, we want.
it used to happen to us all the time when I was working here. You know, you get a raise and then they ERB or their insurance and stuff like that. You know, so it's that same thing that's been happening for years. There's no money to go up higher than 2.5, but
We'll keep trying.
I promise that as the board we are trying to bring it up, and that, you know, we started out with saying, has there been a raise? Has there been something happening in the last 4 or 5 years? You know, let's move up. Let's keep on moving, and let's go with it. You know, it's difficult sometimes. Sometimes I learned that it wasn't as easy as just saying it. We've got to work out and get the money someplace and do it, and so we are going to look at it midpoint and see if we can bring it up. Thank you for your concern, though. Okay, so we have a motion to pass. We already got a second. So those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Those against? Okay, motion is carried. Thank you. Okay. Information items, and those are just written reports. The purchases over 100,000, and I hope that everybody's read them. The accounting operations improvement plan status update, an update from the Office of Development of GROW.
Yep.
If we've done those already, matters relating to SFCC policy, first reading. Didn't.
You don't have anything? None.
Bueno. Board reports, discussion, other business action. Any reports? Are we doing anything concerning? Can I just bring up something to the board that I'd like to do? I would like to see if we can include students more, and as we improve and get a new college mission statement, that maybe what we can do is bring somebody from one of the clubs or something, and to have students be here more, and have them read the college mission statement, but have, say, a club member come and read their mission statement for whatever club it might be, if it's the woodworking club or the fashion club or have them read their statement so that we can be more in touch and they can feel like they're in touch with the board and with the people who attend here. Because how many students do we get that attend our meetings? I think we need, if there's somebody from the club, so I'd like to see if we can do that at the very beginning or something.
Mr. Chair, what we could suggest to Dr. Gonzalez is that maybe we start a program of Student of the Month. Just as we have Employee of the Month, we could have Student of the Month and give them a scholarship and then invite them to get their scholarship here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just work together, but I was just thinking something like that might be.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Yippee!
Yes.
Very refreshing. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. It's okay. The next board meeting is going to be June 18th. Mm-hmm. And now we need a motion to go into closed session.
I move that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing limited personnel matters.
Wow. Thank you. Second? Ándale. Those in favor? Aye. Ándale.
Aye.
Those against? Move on.
Good job. Good job.